Round 13 is in the books, and if you're a James Tedesco owner, I'll tell you what, you're probably still reeling from this week. Welcome back to another Round 13 recap. I'm Longy here from The Casual Athlete, here to talk you through my takes on all these players, whether we can believe these big scores or whether we should stay away from some of these guys as well. Let's jump right into it here. So first up, we got Parramatta versus the Sharks, and Parramatta, 6 of the top 7 scoring players in this game. It was a resurgence for Parra in real life, but also a resurgence for fantasy. Will Penasini was one guy who benefited. So obviously we've been talking about this for a while now. When Mitch Moses and Bryce Cartwright come back, Penasini's going to benefit. So got 67 points. I'm going to chuck him on my watch list there because 519K, it is unders for him. Junior Paulo, 42 minutes, 63 points. Just a barnstorming game from him. Scored that try. Absolutely unstoppable. I'm probably not going to get him because I think he still is in the origin picture, but very interesting. We've got Mitch Moses here as well. 57 points. Absolutely dominant game from him. In real life, more than fantasy. So Moses was on fire in this game. Looked fantastic. Transformed Parramatta as well. You've got the try assist here, 20 tackles. You've got an offload, 652 kick meters is the big one there, as well as 90 run meters. So Moses on fire. Bryce Cartwright, we talked about him as a pod. This is great. Look, 80 minutes is really good. Just got to keep an eye on Madison, who could come back at any moment, though, and steal some edge minutes. Probably more likely from Kelma Tuolungi, but Cartwright is in the picture there too. Going down the list here, look, Kennedy's really cheap. He scored that 57. Brandon Hands, this is a real deal sort of score. If he can keep that spot at Parramatta, then he's going to be a locked-in guy. Probably more like a 45 average than a 55, I would say, but still, great score. Get him in next week. Kelma Tuolungi, 54 points in 80 minutes. Again, on fire. I worry a little bit about Lane on the bench. Lane has gone to the middle spot, and it looks like it's working well. But Ryan Madison can come back at any moment as well. He's obviously out with a couple of injury issues. So when he comes back, he could steal minutes here too, which makes me a little bit nervous about Kelma, but at the price, it is so much upside. Atkinson, a lot of us have him, 51 points. He was great in this game. He's a great football player, and he's producing for us when we need him most. Dylan Brown, 50 points. The day was saved by a try very late in this game. And then there's a lot to talk about here, a lot of big scores. Kale Iro, 43 points is solid enough. We've got Nakora, 33, not so good for him compared to what you're expecting there. Sean Lane, 26. Yeah, nothing too crazy to report down the rest of the list. Let's get into the next game here. So next up, we have the Knights and the Dogs. This was a cracker of a game. Not too many games to go through this week, but this one was, and when I say it's a cracker of a game, not a close game, but it's good to see the Dogs on the rise. That's kind of where my head's at, right? So Newcastle, they've had a great run without Ponga. They came crashing back to earth in this one. But for the Dogs, they're a team who have struggled for such a long time, got such a passionate fan base. I'm hyped to see them doing well, which is weird as a Parramatta fan, but it's good to see them rising up. So Jacob Preston here first, 83 points, scored the 2 tries. He had not a crazy stat line. So if you look at it, it's like 37 tackles, 4 tackle breaks, the offload, 115 meters gained. Yeah, you have the try saver, I guess, but 83 points is fantastic from him. Elliott, 75 points. He was one of the top scorers of the week as well. Absolutely massive from him. Just can't trust the minutes there week to week. Kai Pearce-Paul, 53. It's kind of what we expect, but it's good to see him back to his best. Whether Frizzell stays on the bench is another question. Down the list here, King, 47 points in 47 minutes. It's on the lower end of what we were hoping for, but it's fine. We're not going to blow up our teams over this one, but it's a fine score. Same with Brayley as well. 47 points in 69 minutes for him. Again, I'm not worried too much. Phoenix Crossland is stealing a few minutes from him, but overall, I think he should be okay. Going down the list here, Reed Marnie. So you got the 48 tackles here, 7 missed tackles. That was the challenge there. So you had the 2 try assists as well, but the missed tackles really caught up to Reed in this game. Then going down the list here, Frizzell, 40 and 38 minutes. He's a bit of a beast. Lucas, 37, a bit quieter. Greg Marzu, 35 points. A few of you guys grabbed him in. Look, it's solid enough without really any attacking plays happening for Newcastle in that game. Kraz, 30 points, but he is an up-and-down sort of guy. I wouldn't be too worried about this. If you have him, you got the big score the week before, right? So you just have to cop these sorts of scores in between. Armstrong, 24 points is a tough one, so he had some pretty rough moments. He's been awesome in that spot, but a couple of moments where he wasn't sort of getting onto the ball the way you'd hope. It was very wet conditions. There was a lot of pressure on him in those moments, so I'm not too worried, but there is always that chance with a guy who's just come in that they don't secure the spot long term. So keep an eye on that, because for Armstrong, Yeah, look, the stat line isn't anything to be too worried about. The 6 tackle breaks, 24 points and a shocker is okay. It's just whether he keeps that spot long term. Salmon back to earth, 22 points in 80 minutes. That's a bit more the regular programming for Salmon's fantasy scoring. Hughes, that's a really tough one. Really tough one for anyone who held him. You got 10 points in like 14 minutes, something it was. So for Hughes, that's rough. You're gonna have to sell Hughes on at this point. He's got to go. He's done a good job. He's a great young prop, but he's just not getting the minutes in this dog side. All right, we'll keep rolling through here with the next game. So who have we got next? We have the Panthers and the Dragons. Big upset here too. Dragons got up in this one. So for the Dragons, first one here, our top scorer of the round, Raymond Fatal Mariner, 95 points. And this is out of left field, man. This is out of left field because last week he scored 14, right? So you don't normally get such a big variance. Like Dom Young had the big variance where he scored the negative game after scoring a big one. But this is a 80-point variance for Fatal Mariner. So you look at this game, you got 80 minutes played, you got the try, a line break, 45 tackles, 11 tackle breaks, 164 meters in the offload as well. So yeah, dominant performance from the big man, Fatal Mariner. Would I go and buy him? No, I don't trust it at St. George, but at the same time, great work to him. He's always been a good football player, so it's good to see him getting a run. Liam Henry, next guy here, 73 points. Not many own Liam Henry. It's about 2.4%. For Liam Henry, you got 71 tackles in this game and not much else other than that. In fact, you got the forced turnover as well. So it's really 75 tackles from defensive stats. 75 points anyway from defensive stats. So that was a juggernaut game from him. Fisher Harris played 72 minutes and scored 68 points. If you got on him, bravo. I wouldn't be chasing the points now, though. Penrith don't have a great bye schedule, so they won't be playing in rounds 16 and 19. Marshkey started in the halves, did a job, 66 points. That's absolutely awesome. I feel like these backup halves are just coming in and getting massive scores off the bat. You got Lindsay Smith with 62 points. Alamotti scored a 55. Danilis DeBellin, 53 points in 57 minutes. You can cop that. It's a pretty good score. Sorensen, 51 points. That's more the regular programming. So he averaged 52.5 last year when he started in the back row. So 51 is very good for him. Luciano Leilua, 37 in 80 minutes, is a bit quiet, but I've been keeping an eye on him just in terms of his price. Probably won't get cheap enough for me to buy him, but he's a guy who's there or thereabouts. Isaac Tungo, 26 points, is not what you're looking for. 3.3% owned. He just keeps getting cheaper because, yeah, that break even, 51 points. So he's going to drop even more cash. He can get into the 400s theoretically, which is very enticing at maybe around 17 buy. So he'll have 2 more games than the Panthers buy, and then maybe buy him around 17 if he's cheap enough there. Because you want Cleary to come back. That's the big thing. Taruva, I don't think many have him, but for Taruva, 15 points is a quiet one as well. So yeah, not as exciting. A lot of less owned players had bigger games in that one. But for the next game here, we got the Dolphins and the Raiders, and this one was a big game for some more owned fantasy options. So first up, Raiders. Joey Tarpanay, 93 points, unstoppable in this game. So for Joey Tarpanay, look, this is what he can do in any given week, really. So you look at this stat line, you got 63 minutes. That's the first thing there. It's about 10 minutes more than what he's been getting so far this year. You got the line break. You've got 50 tackles, 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, and 211 run meters. None of this is super out of the realm of consistent production for Tarpanay. So if he got the big minutes every week, he would be one of those guys who averages 60, 65 points. The issue is he's probably not going to get those minutes every week. The way the Raiders are playing him, they don't seem to want to give him those minutes. But at the same time, if you think this is a turning point for Canberra and you think Horsburgh returning won't affect that, and he's going to get 60 minutes a game, then he is well underpriced for that production. So he could be a guy you look at after round 14, so round 15, because the Raiders have the round 14 bye. Very interesting option there. Ewan Aitken, 80 points, another massive one. He was top of our buys list. I wish I could have gotten him, but just didn't work with my roster, unfortunately. So for Ewan Aitken, look, 80 points is fantastic. Again, nothing crazy about this. So you have the try assist, you got 45 tackles, no misses, you got 5 tackle breaks, the offload, 150 run meters, right? So this is an upside game for Aitken, but he can keep producing this 50 average, 55 average pretty easily, I reckon. Again, buy in round 14 for both these teams. So just don't be buying him this week, but if you want him next week, go ahead. Marshall King, 74 points, grab the try. He's always had this attacking upside. So for Marshall King, if you got on this, you are a bold fantasy player, and it's clutch for you. So bravo. Mariota, Grabbed the try, 74 points in 76 minutes. It's a tough one because Hudson Young, he's in the Origin side right now. I don't know if he's going to keep that Origin spot, though. So guys like Cam Murray coming back, guys like Matt Burton on the extended bench. I think any of these guys could steal Hudson Young's spot, and that would mean Hudson Young comes back to Clubland and Mariota drifts away. So I wouldn't be reacting to this one too much. KO Weeks, 68 points, another whopper. This was a really good fantasy game, wasn't it? 68 for him. We got Max Plath, 59 points in 78 minutes. That's just a massive game from him. So bravo, Herbie Farmworth, my boy, on 54. Gets that average up to about 50. So yeah, that's a good game from him too. Morgan Smithies, 45 in 64 minutes. Some injury concerns on this one, so just keep an eye on that. He could be a guy that you look to move on at this point, I think. The fact that his image loaded so slowly tells me that's a bit of a sign. So I'll be probably looking to move Morgan Smithies on this week. But I might try to keep him as well. We'll see what happens. Ethan Strange had a better game. So 44 points, pretty solid base game as well from him. So if you look at the stats, you got 20 tackles, 9 tackle breaks, 100 run meters, still no kicks. That's the issue. So the base is never going to really be there. It requires those big running sort of plays, 9 tackle breaks, all that. So yeah, the 44 was solid, but I'm open to selling Strange as well. Mark Nichols, he got 43 points. We've got down the list, Rapana back to form, 42. We got Lemuelu, played a full game, but 37 points wasn't fantastic. Trey Fuller, if you held him, 36 wasn't ideal. He had the HIA as well, so that's worth noting. And then down the bottom list, like Kotrick, 22, nothing too crazy to report down the bottom there. So a lot of big scores in that game. Nothing too crazy to report down the bottom. All right, Chookies and the Cowboys for this game. So this was a Sunday footy game. Again, he's teasing us, man. Like Terrell May, 91 points. This guy just comes out, and whenever people are doubting him, produces a massive score. So at 91 points, look at the stats here. You got the try, you got the line break, you got 49 tackles, 9 tackle breaks, 129 meters, no negative plays at all, right? This was a rock solid game from Terrell May. Would I overreact and go and buy him? Probably not. Connor Watson comes back soon. I think the minutes are going to feel a bit of a squeeze, and 75 minutes played is not going to be what we're going to see from him going forward. But it was a great game today. Scotty Drinkwater, 78 points. He was looking really dire for a while there, and he just lit it up down the stretch in this game. So again, you got the try, you got 3 goals, you got 3 line breaks, 10 tackle breaks, 131 run meters. He was just everywhere down the stretch of this game, and a big part of why the Cowboys won this game. Bit of Fuyaki, we all sold him off, and he's produced a 63-point game. Again, exactly how it goes. Once you sell these guys, they always turn up. So it's a good case for why sometimes we need to hold on to guys a bit longer. Personally, I got rid of Fuyaki a month ago, so I'm not innocent in this point, but sometimes that is the play. Sam Walker, 59 points. Again, he just keeps rising up in terms of his price. He's a quality player, so he should be about a 50 average at season end. So he just keeps on sort of rising up. Nat Butcher came back in. I wouldn't trust the job security. Dom Young scored the try, got 51 points. That was pretty solid as well. Burns, 47. He keeps producing at a pretty low price. Joey Manu, 44. A lot got him. I got him this week. I'm not super stoked with the 44-point game, but when you look at the way the game went and the 44 points, if you give him that dummy half try, for example, he goes up to 60 plus. So I can't really be too upset with that one. If you bought Joey Manu, it was a smart move, but unfortunately, they don't always pay off big. And then down the list here, Lukey, 31 points. Not the best. He was going well at the start, but sort of cooled off. Brandon Smith, 26 points. He just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So worth keeping an eye on him. Sandon Smith, if he ever gets a starting spot, he's a bit of a weapon as well. So got an eye on him. And then McKaylee, 15 points in 16 minutes. Started the game at lock and just never came back. So that was a bit of a mystery for us this week. Anyway, those are my reactions for round 13. Hopefully it was a good one for you. It was pretty chaotic, so don't be too stressed if it was a bad one. Round 14 is going to be another chaotic round, so make sure you keep an eye on buy, hold, sell this week, as well as our videos on all the top options, crunch time, all that sort of thing on NRL.com too. We'll see you on those videos.